The last time you guys played these guys, it obviously didn't go real well. Does that? Do you think about that in the margin of victory that they had and everything last time?
I don't think you think about the margin of victory. You understand, when anybody comes in and wins on your, on your home field, it doesn't really feel good. Especially for me, it's one of those games where I wasn't completely healthy, and I was definitely looking forward to playing them again.
You mentioned home field. Just how important is getting back to that? You guys last year were probably what you wanted to be at home in terms of record. Just how important is getting that kind of dominance back at Century Link?
It's really important, especially if you look at the years that we were a very dominant team. We were very good at home. And I think that any team that wants to be good, you have to be good at home. You never want to lose in front of your home fans. We just want to go out there and really use their energy and their spirit to get this win. But it's very, very important to kind of show. You win at home, you get a home playoff game, and that's something that you look forward to.
What's the key with Gurley and slowing him down?
Say it again?
What's the key with Todd Gurley slowing him down?
Hitting him. I think they want to start off passing first, really, and then it kind of makes you play a little back, and then that's when they try to attack you with the run. And they have different styles of runs. They got people crossing your face. They got receivers moving, tight ends moving. So this is a game that really tests your discipline. It really tests your eyes, and you have to be very, very disciplined because they have so many different things. But when it comes down to it, if you're disciplined, you'll make the plays you need to. So we know they're going to get them the ball. They're going to get them with screens. They're going to get them with runs, outside run, inside runs. And, our goal is to meet him everywhere. My goal is to meet him everywhere he goes.
If Austin Cleature ends up playing at weak side, just how much faith do you guys have in him based off what he's shown so far?
I have a lot of confidence in him. He's stepped in. When I was out, he played Mike. He's played Will. He does it all, and he's when he's out there, he's a very smart player. A guy that I love to play with, love to play alongside of. So, I'm looking forward to it. We have a really great relationship, and so the communication I know is going to be there, and I think that's the biggest thing is communicating, especially this game.
Does this team test your discipline more than others? Like when you talk about the discipline needed on defense, or is it just the same and their numbers look so much better than everybody else's?
There are certain teams that are a little bit more. The teams that come to mind are like teams that have a lot of pullers, have a lot of misdirection type offensive. That tests your defense. But, these guys definitely test your eyes and what you're looking at and your gaps. And they obviously do it really, really good. And I think that's what makes them, kind of stand out so much is because their coaches have a good job of finding someone that they want to try to pick on. And if you're the guy and you're not disciplined, then they accomplish it.
That's one of the things that they said after last week's game is that it felt like they got the matchup they wanted every single time. As a defense, do you feel that, and how do you counter that?
As a defense, you want to try to – your goal is to make them one-dimensional. You don't want to give them both runs, and because once they run the ball, it opens up the passing game, and now you got to look and worry about every single thing. But if you could stop the run, you kind of know what certain passes that they get into, and I think that's the game. I think everybody just got to be on their thing. Like you got to be on your job. You got to be focused. You got to be disciplined. You got to know what it is you're going to do, and if you put the studying in, if you do what you're supposed to do, which I feel like we will, they won't pick on you because you'll be a step ahead.
Game against Minnesota last week, they managed to get receivers matched up on linebackers a few times with the way they did things. How big of a concern is that to worry about those matchup issues, and how do you kind of look to limit those chances that they can get?
I'm not concerned. I feel like I'm a different linebacker, so I feel like I can run with a receiver. So you just have to, again, you have to be conscious of it. If there was one play that I think you might be speaking of when, 18 kind of came like he was in the line and then ran up. You have to see that. And, he kind of was late on it. And I think it's just you have to understand through your film study that that's something that they're going to have. Other teams have that type of play in their offense, but they normally do it with tight ends. And so, They do a really good job of just using different people to do it. You know, even like last year, Gurley was in the backfield and ran a seam route. And I think it was in the Cowboys game, and he scored a touchdown. So they're going to do something that we haven't seen before. But if we're disciplined and we do what we practice, we should be fine. That's why your eyes are so important this week.
You've played against Goff for a few years now. Just what have you seen out of him this year?
Kind of like I said last year. Last year was a big jump as far as like confidence, and I think it's, even more now. And I think the biggest difference too is I think he has more control over the offense. Like he has a better understanding of the offense, and you can see him out there making checks. You can see him out there reading other defenses and changing the plays, and that's not something that I felt like I seen last year. He was more confident, but he didn't have like control. But you could see the control of the offense, and they try to do the high tempo thing just to kind of get everybody off. But you just want to hit him and get him off the spot, and try to be in his face as much as possible. He's a really good quarterback. If you let him just sit there and throw the ball, then he'll pick you apart. And we're not going to just sit there.
You guys were shorthanded on defense last time you played the Rams, and you said you were limited too by injury. But that was the biggest beatdown you guys have had, especially at home. What did you take away about the Rams overall from that game, and what might influence you Sunday?
So what did I learn from the game? That they were good and we weren't healthy. That's pretty much it. You can't speculate what would have happened if guys were healthy, if I was healthy, if guys were out there. You can't speculate what would have happened. They beat us. That was 2017. It's 2018. You're not going to do it again. And that's kind of my mindset. And I'm not hurt like I was last year, so that's going to be different. It's just you start identifying everything that's different, everything that you're ready for, and I'll be able to move a lot better than I was. So I think that'll be different.
You guys are considered a pretty heavy underdog this week. Does that matter at all?
Yeah, who cares? I mean, it doesn't matter. As long as the group in here believes that we can win, it's fine. I mean, it don't matter. We'll just upset people like we usually do.
What changes defensively without having Earl? I mean, obviously you've done it a few times the last couple of years, but does much change defensively when you don't have Earl back there?
I think the scheme-wise, it doesn't change. I think it's more so just the player. Like I said, Earl's a different guy. He's able to his range, through the field is something off the chart. So that is different. But we're extremely confident in T2, Tarek Thomas, and we were confident going into the season, with him, with his ability and the things that he's shown, throughout the preseason and everything else. But, Earl came back, and, obviously when he comes back, he's going to play. So we have that same confidence. I think the week that Earl came back, T2 had like 4 picks at practice. So, he's a very hungry guy, and we know he's going to come out there and be excited. He knows that, people are probably going to be looking at him, and I think he's up for the challenge.
Cam already gone and now Earl out. That's all of the Legion of Boom.
I thought it was defense, though. No, go ahead. Ask your question.
When you look back on this back unit, what's the legacy and what it meant to the rise of this team?
I think it meant a lot. It's like I said, the group that we had, especially those guys. I don't think you can, duplicate that again. You had Cam, who was extremely smart and hit really hard. You had Earl, who was able to somehow get from sideline to sideline within a blink of an eye. You had Sherm, who talked trash and backed it up. It's a great group of guys, great group of individuals, very smart football players that, I don't think you can never duplicate again. I think people have tried and, they haven't come close. And so they're definitely going. We all gonna have a 30 for 30. I just hope that y'all remember to add me into the, to the mix. There was a middle linebacker that was kind of telling them what to do. So I will take a little bit of credit.
Are there a lot of stories that haven't been told yet that will come out in the 30 for 30?
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure there's a lot of things y'all hear. 20 years from now, it's like would make a lot of sense. So.
What is different with defense from last year? You said that when you look at this game, you compared something new on the defense. What is new about this defense from the last time y'all played the Rams?
I think the discipline will be a lot different. I think even that game last year, the discipline, needed to be better for us to win that game. And we weren't as on point as we needed to be, which is why the game ended up being the way that it is. And it's something that you have to learn from, something that won't happen again, and something that you're conscious of. And so I would say that's the biggest difference is, our discipline will be on point this game.
Bobby, with the protection lately of the quarterback with penalties, do you change now your way of going after a quarterback or how you're going to tackle a quarterback? Anything go through your mind when you do?
Nah, nothing goes through my mind when I'm trying to hit a person because that's too much thought. I'm not about to figure out how I'm going to hit you. I'm going to hit you, and then after the fact, it's either good or it's not good. I don't know. But, that's the type of thing you can't really think about right before contact because that's how people get hurt. It's trying to think before you hit somebody. You just do it. I feel like for me personally, I feel like I've always been a person who used my shoulders, so it hasn't really been a big deal. So I don't think I don't change my game. I just hit him with the shoulder I've always hit him with, and that's kind of my deal.
Anything else? Thanks, Bobby.
Good. Appreciate you guys. Y'all need a nap. Just saying.